I, 20M, have been dating Amy, 20F, for almost 4 months now. We met through mutual friends at a college party and hit it off immediately. She's really pretty, funny, and seemed very supportive of my interests initially. Before I get into what happened, let me give some background about myself and my passion for theater. I started acting in school plays when I was 14. My drama teacher Mrs. Roberts always said I had natural talent and encouraged me to pursue it further. Throughout high school, I was part of every major production. After starting college, I really missed being on stage. 6 months ago, I finally joined this local theater group called Center Stage Productions. It's not very big or professional, but they put on decent shows and I was excited to get back into acting. When I first joined, I mostly did background work. You know, being part of the crowd scenes or helping with props. I didn't mind because I was new and understood that the better roles went to more experienced members. During this time, I met quite a few people in the group. There's Sarah, who's been acting there for 2 years and usually gets lead roles because she's really talented. Then there's Mark, who handles lighting but sometimes acts too, Tom, who directs most shows, and Lisa, who manages costumes. Last week, Tom offered me my first significant role. It wasn't the lead, but it was a supporting character with actual lines and a backstory. I was thrilled because I'd been waiting for an opportunity like this. The role was of a young artist who falls in love with his muse, played by Sarah. According to the original script, there was supposed to be a romantic duet where we sing together, followed by a kiss and some intimate scenes. I immediately told Tom I wasn't comfortable with the kissing part. Not just because of Amy, but also because I've never done an on-stage kiss before and didn't want my first one to be in such a major scene. Tom was really understanding and agreed to modify it to just a hug and the line "I love you" at the end of the duet. When all this happened, Amy and I had been dating for about 4 months. We met at a party through our mutual friend Jake. She seemed really sweet and understanding at first. We clicked instantly because we both loved the same music and had similar taste in movies. She would come over to my place almost every day, and we'd spend hours just talking or watching shows together. The problem started when I told her about getting this role. I called her immediately after Tom gave me the news because I was excited and wanted to share it with her. I told her about the role, the scenes, and specifically mentioned that I had already gotten the kissing part removed. She seemed totally fine with it at first. She even congratulated me and said she was happy for me. But about an hour later, everything changed. She started sending these really passive-aggressive texts saying things like "Hope you enjoy your rehearsals with Sarah and must be nice to have an excuse to hug other girls." When I called to ask what was wrong, she told me to stop mentioning theater to her altogether. I tried explaining again that I had already refused to do the kissing scene and that it was just acting, not real feelings. But she wouldn't listen. She kept saying how hard it would be for her to watch me hug another girl and then come home to hug her. She said she wouldn't be able to stop thinking about whether I was thinking about Sarah while hugging her. During our argument, Amy revealed some things about her past that I didn't know before. Her father had left her mother when Amy was 12, running off with a younger woman he met at work. This really messed up Amy's ability to trust men. Then her first boyfriend in high school cheated on her with her best friend, and her second boyfriend was emotionally manipulative, constantly threatening to leave her if she didn't do what he wanted. I understood where she was coming from after hearing all this. She had been through a lot and had valid reasons for having trust issues. But at the same time, I felt hurt that she didn't trust me enough to even act on stage. This wasn't some random thing I was doing to be close to other girls. This was my passion, something I had been doing since long before I met her. The argument got pretty heated. She kept making these sarcastic comments about me making out with Sarah during rehearsals, even though I had explicitly told her there would be no kissing. She said things like, "Oh, so you'll just be feeling her up instead? And I'm sure you'll both be very professional about it." I usually try to stay calm during arguments, but her accusations really got to me. I lost my cool and said some things I'm not proud of. I told her she was being ridiculous and that maybe she needed therapy to deal with her trust issues instead of taking them out on me. This made her cry, which made me feel terrible. Eventually, just to end the argument, I agreed to drop out of the scene entirely. She said she wouldn't be able to watch the performance if I did it, and I didn't want to keep fighting about it. The next day at rehearsal, I told Tom I couldn't do the role anymore. He was disappointed but understanding. Sarah seemed upset too since we had already started rehearsing together. That's when things got weird. After rehearsal, Sarah pulled me aside and showed me some Instagram messages she had received from Amy. The messages were really aggressive, telling Sarah to stay away from me and accusing her of trying to steal me away. I was shocked because Amy had never mentioned contacting Sarah. Now I'm stuck in this really difficult situation. Theater has been my passion since high school, and I joined this group months before I even met Amy. But I also care about her and don't want to hurt her feelings. My friends think I'm being controlled, but I keep defending her because I understand her past trauma. My sister Lisa thinks I should break up with Amy because she says this controlling behavior will only get worse with time. I need advice on how to handle this. Should I stick with theater and tell Amy to deal with her issues? Or should I prioritize her feelings and find another hobby? Has anyone else dealt with a similar situation? Any advice would be appreciated. Update 1: It's been 2 weeks since my last post and things have gotten much worse than I expected. After I dropped out of the scene, I thought everything would go back to normal with Amy, but I was completely wrong. She started getting upset whenever I would even mention going to rehearsals. According to her, just knowing I was in the same room as Sarah made her uncomfortable. For the past 2 weeks, I've still been going to rehearsals but only doing background work. Tom, our director, gave my role to Mike, another guy from the group. Sarah was obviously disappointed but tried to be professional about it. I noticed she would avoid talking to me during breaks, probably because she didn't want to cause more drama. Last week during rehearsal, Sarah came up to me looking really upset. She pulled me aside and told me something that changed everything. Apparently, Amy had been spreading vicious rumors in our theater group. She told people that Sarah was trying to steal me away from her and that we had been secretly meeting after rehearsals. She even went as far as telling people that Sarah was known for breaking up relationships and that she had done this before with other guys in the group. None of this was true, of course. Sarah has been dating Mark for 2 years and they're really happy together. The worst part is that these rumors reached Tom and some of the senior members. Tom had to call a special meeting to address the situation because it was affecting the group's dynamics. Some people had started treating Sarah differently, giving her cold looks and avoiding her during breaks. The meeting was absolutely humiliating. I had to stand there in front of the entire group and explain my personal drama. Sarah was in tears because a few members had suggested removing her from the play to avoid drama. She's been with the group for years and has always been professional, but now her reputation was being questioned because of Amy's lies. When I confronted Amy about this, her reaction shocked me. She didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she turned it around and accused me of defending Sarah, saying this proved that something was going on between us. She said if there was really nothing between Sarah and me, I wouldn't care about the rumors. Then she dropped another bombshell. She admitted that she had been following me after rehearsals to make sure I wasn't meeting Sarah secretly. I was stunned. She had been literally stalking me and saw nothing wrong with it. When I asked her how long this had been going on, she casually said she started doing it right after I got the role. She would park her car across the street and wait until rehearsal ended, then follow me to make sure I went straight home. Feeling completely lost, I decided to talk to Amy's mom about her behavior. Amy is really close to her mom and I thought maybe she could help talk some sense into her. That turned out to be a huge mistake. Instead of being concerned about her daughter's behavior, her mom completely took her side. She said I was being insensitive to Amy's past trauma and that if I really loved her, I would quit theater altogether. Not only that, but Amy's mom then called my parents. She told them I was emotionally abusing her daughter by putting her through mental torture, knowing her past trauma with unfaithful men. My parents were confused and upset. My dad suggested maybe I should find another hobby to keep the peace, but my mom thinks Amy's behavior is concerning. The situation at theater has become really tense. Some people have taken Amy's side, believing her stories about Sarah. They think I'm leading both girls on and enjoying the drama. Others support Sarah and think I should stand up to Amy. Mark, Sarah's boyfriend, has been really understanding but I can tell he's getting frustrated with the whole situation. Jake, our mutual friend who introduced us, told me yesterday that Amy has been telling people at college that Sarah seduced me and that's why I wanted to do the scene with her. She's painting herself as the victim of another unfaithful boyfriend, just like her dad and her exes. I feel completely trapped. I can't quit theater because it's my passion and that would mean letting Amy's unfair behavior win. But staying is causing problems for everyone, especially Sarah who doesn't deserve any of this. Amy checks my phone regularly now and gets upset if she sees any message from anyone in the theater group, even if it's just about rehearsal timings. I don't know what to do anymore. Every time I try to talk to Amy about her behavior, she starts crying and brings up her past trauma. She says I'm the only one she trusts and she can't bear the thought of losing me like she lost everyone else. But her behavior is getting more controlling and obsessive by the day. My sister Lisa keeps telling me to end things before they get worse, but I feel guilty even thinking about it. Despite everything, I still care about Amy and I know she's acting this way because she's hurt. But at the same time, I'm starting to feel suffocated. I need advice on what to do next because this situation is becoming unbearable. I think I'll try talking to Amy one more time, but honestly, I'm starting to lose hope that things will ever change. We'll update again if anything major happens. Update 2: yesterday something happened that completely changed everything. Sarah's boyfriend Mark came to rehearsal and asked to talk to me privately. At first, I thought he was upset about all the drama affecting Sarah, but what he showed me left me speechless. Mark pulled out his phone and showed me Instagram messages from last year between him and Amy. The messages showed Amy constantly flirting with him while he was dating Sarah, sending him late-night texts, and trying to meet up alone. This was months before Amy and I started dating, but it completely shattered the image I had of her. But that wasn't even the worst part. Mark then told me something that made everything make sense. Amy had tried to join our theater group 3 times before I even met her. She would show up for auditions but wasn't good enough to get in. The last time she auditioned, about 8 months ago, she had a huge meltdown when Sarah got the role she wanted. She accused Tom of favoritism and said Sarah was sleeping her way to the top. According to Mark, Amy had been obsessing over our theater group for a long time. She followed all the members on social media and would show up to every performance. When she met me at that party through Jake, she already knew I was planning to join the group. Jake confirmed this later, saying Amy had specifically asked him to introduce us when she found out I was interested in theater. The whole jealousy thing about my scene with Sarah wasn't really about me at all. Amy wanted to make sure I wouldn't get close to Sarah because Sarah knew about how Amy had tried to break up her relationship with Mark. She was worried Sarah would tell me about her past behavior and expose her lies. When I confronted Amy with the messages and everything I had learned, her reaction was chilling. She didn't even try to deny it. She just laughed and said I was too naive. She admitted that she had been hoping to use me to get back at Sarah, but things got complicated when she actually started having feelings for me. She said she thought if she could make everyone believe Sarah was a homewrecker, they would finally kick her out of the group and Amy might have another chance to join. She had been playing the victim this whole time, using her past trauma to manipulate me and everyone else. I feel like such an idiot. I defended her to everyone, gave up my role, and almost lost my friends in the theater group all because I believed her lies. I let her manipulate me with her tears and stories about her past trauma. I even started doubting myself and feeling guilty for wanting to act in a simple theater scene. The worst part is realizing how many people she hurt in the process. Sarah's reputation in the group was almost ruined. Some members still believe Amy's lies and treat Sarah differently. Tom is talking about canceling the production altogether because the atmosphere in the group has become so toxic. When I told Jake about everything, he was shocked too. Apparently, Amy had told him a completely different story about why she wanted to meet me. She said she had seen me perform in a college event and thought I was talented. Jake feels terrible now for introducing us. My sister Lisa just said I told you so when I told her everything. She had seen through Amy's act from the beginning but I was too blinded to listen. My parents apologized for suggesting I quit theater, saying they had no idea how manipulative Amy was being. I'm writing this update from my sister's place because I needed to get away for a few days to clear my head. Amy has been blowing up my phone with messages, switching between apologizing and threatening to tell people I was the one who pursued her first. She's even started messaging my friends from college, trying to turn them against me. I know now that I need to end things completely with Amy and cut her out of my life. But I'm worried about how she might retaliate. She's already shown how far she's willing to go to hurt people who get in her way. I'm also worried about how to fix things with the theater group and especially with Sarah, who suffered the most because of my blindness to Amy's true nature. I'll update again once I figure out what to do next. Right now I just needed to get this off my chest because I still can't believe how twisted this whole situation turned out to be. Update 3. It's been 3 months since everything happened with Amy and I wanted to give a final update. I broke up with her immediately after discovering the truth about her obsession with the theater group and her attempts to manipulate everyone. The breakup wasn't pretty at all. When I told her it was over, she completely lost it. She showed up at my apartment multiple times crying and screaming. I had to threaten to call the police to make her leave. Then she started creating fake social media accounts to contact me and spread rumors about me in college. She told people I had cheated on her with Sarah and that I was emotionally abusive. For about a month, she kept trying different ways to get to me. She would message my friends with fake stories about me, wait outside my classes, and even tried to talk to my parents. Finally, my sister Lisa helped me document everything and we got a restraining order against her. That seemed to work because she eventually stopped. I'm back in theater now and actually got an even better role in our next production. Tom, our director, apologized for not seeing through Amy's lies earlier. He said he remembered her from her previous auditions but never connected the dots until everything came out. The group has been really supportive, especially after seeing all the evidence of Amy's manipulation. Sarah and I became good friends through all this. She really helped me see how manipulative Amy was and stood by me when I was dealing with the aftermath of the breakup. She and Mark are still together and actually getting married next year. They even asked me to be part of their wedding party. Some members who had believed Amy's lies and treated Sarah badly came forward to apologize. A few left the group out of embarrassment, but most stayed and we're all trying to move past the drama. Our new production is going really well and the atmosphere in the group is much better now. Jake, who had introduced us, cut all ties with Amy too. He found out she had been lying to him about a lot of things even before she met me. Apparently, she had tried to cause problems in his other friendships too. I heard from mutual friends that Amy is now dating someone from another theater group in the next town. I actually tried to find a way to warn him about her behavior but realized it wasn't my place to get involved. I just hope she's not doing the same things to him. Looking back, I can't believe I almost gave up something I loved for someone who was just using me for her own revenge plot. My sister Lisa was right when she said the red flags were there from the beginning. I just chose to ignore them because I felt bad about Amy's supposed past trauma. The whole experience taught me a lot about standing up for myself and not letting anyone manipulate me with guilt or emotional blackmail. I'm focusing on theater now more than ever and it feels great to be doing what I love without any drama. Sometimes I still get anonymous messages that I know are from Amy using new fake accounts, but I just block them all. The restraining order is still in place and I'm keeping records of any attempts she makes to contact me, just in case. Life is much better now without all that toxicity. I'm even thinking about applying to some professional theater groups in the city. At least now I know better than to let anyone control my life or come between me and my passion for acting.